Hello, Abnormals. Welcome to the Ministry of Abnormality. I am your host, O Abnormal, and this week I'm going to be answering the question, what motivated you to get into art? Now, when I first sat down to record this audio clip, I thought it was going to be very easy to answer this question because, well, what motivated me to get into art? I mean, that's simple, of course. I got that answer. Do I? Do I really? I've drawn my whole entire life, and I used to think that had a lot of value. I used to think that the simple fact that I was able to say that I've drawn my entire life gave me an advantage. Something like that. I used to think that I was in a privileged position amongst other artists because I've just been doing it longer. And, I mean, it's not that that doesn't have any value at all. I think I've just learned that it's not as valuable as you might think. I've known artists that started way after me and have been doing it way less time and are way better. So, is the simple fact that I've been doing it my entire life that valuable? Why? Why do I do it? And it's interesting to me because the more I thought about it, the more I started to understand certain things about myself and about my art. And at the end of it, I think this question is very important because I think this question is a question that everybody needs to ask themselves, not just with art, but with everything. So, why? What motivated me to get into art? Well, I guess I've always wanted it. I guess it's been what I've always done and what I've always loved. And it's the thing that I do, but you see, something happened to me, as it probably happens to everybody, just differently, that along the way I tripped and fell. Let me explain. For my entire life, I drew, as I've said several times already, but then, when I was in university, I hit a wall. You see, when I was in high school, I was the kid in high school that could draw. Sure, there were a couple of other kids in high school that could draw just as well. I remember them well. But at the end of the whole high school thing, when you graduate, I was the kid that could draw. And I was the kid that decided that he wanted to pursue a career in arts. Now, here where I live, Colombia, by the way. Colombia, South America, just in case. Now, here where I live, there's no way to study illustration or comics or anything like that, like in other places. And we are also talking about the 90s. 1996, to be more exact, is the year I graduated high school. So I took a career in what was most similar to what I wanted to do, and that was graphic design. Now, when I went into graphic design, the first thing I noticed is that, well, all the other kids that could draw in high school were there with me. It was basically a classroom of the kids that could draw in high school. And that really kind of gives you a different perspective on things. Now, I'm not a huge believer in the unquestionable value of university. I think that there's a lot of questions we need to ask ourselves about if we do all need to go to university or not. But I did benefit from that. I did benefit from the fact that suddenly I was surrounded by all the kids that could draw in high school, and I wasn't the only one doing it, and I suddenly lost that advantage. That was good. That was a good thing, and I kept on studying, but unfortunately, graphic design is not art. It's not. Graphic design is not completely apart from art. It's not completely different, but it's not art. And I stopped illustrating a lot. Like, I illustrated a lot less, I made a lot less art, and I focused on the things that graphic design focuses on logo design and layouts and all those kind of things that a graphic designer does. About halfway through my studies, there was a semester where I had the opportunity to take illustration that semester, focus entirely on illustration. And so I did. I was very excited because I had not yet abandoned my dream entirely of wanting to be an illustrator, an artist. So I took that semester. I was very, very excited. It went so poorly. It went so bad. Seriously, it just went so bad. Here, your grades in university go from 0 to 5. 3 is a passing grade. And that semester of illustration, I got a 3.2. I nearly flunked. Now, there's a lot of other stories to be told about that semester, and hey, if you want me to tell them to you, I'll do so gladly, but let's just say that the teacher I had at one point of the semester told me that she didn't think I was going to be a professional illustrator, ever. That she didn't think I had what it took. And that even if I did, what I wanted to be was a fantasy artist, and that there was no market for fantasy artists in the Latin American market. Now, again, if you're laughing at that, please remember that this wasn't 1996 anymore. This was the year 2000. It doesn't sound like that long ago, but think about it. That was 17 years ago. Things have changed. But back then, it might as well just been true. Thing is, as much as it hurts me to admit it, that stopped me. That really that really tripped me along the road to become an artist. And I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not proud either. I did stop. I stopped, not entirely. I'd still draw occasionally. I still loved art. But I kind of abandoned the idea of being a pro artist, of dedicating my entire life to it. And I started doing other things. I was studying graphic design, so I dedicated myself to graphic design. I studied editorial, typography, and I did well. I was a good graphic designer. I did very well. Along the way, I tried makeup. I started working as a makeup artist. And again, I did well. I had fun. I still love makeup. I still love special effects makeup and all that kind of stuff. And that also has to do with art. It's also, I would consider that art. But it's not what I wanted. I mean, it wasn't illustration, but I did it and I enjoyed it. Along the way, I also decided that I wanted to become a teacher. And I did. And I'm good at it. I don't know if that's something I should say or not, but I am good at it. I mean, I do well. Whatever. The thing is, I got discouraged. And I tripped and I fell along the way to becoming a professional artist, to becoming an illustrator. But because of that, I tried new things, and I tried makeup, and I tried design, and I tried teaching, and I was good at it, and I got a job, and all those things. Then in 2003, that means that was about 3 years. 3 years that I just stopped. I mean, I did draw something here and there, but I just stopped for 3 years. And then in 2003, I had a job as a graphic designer in a web company. Again, remember, it's the early 2000s. There were companies that made web pages, and I was the head of graphic design in one of them. A good job. But it turned out to be a scam. The whole company was a scam. It was fake. I mean, of course, I didn't know this. I wasn't scamming anybody. I was scammed. It was a fake company. And suddenly, when it all came to light, I was without a job. And I found myself hating offices and hating the whole experience. And I'll gladly tell you about it some other time if you want. But I did. I hated offices, and I swore that I would never set foot in an office again. August 3rd, 2003. I remember it. I'll never forget it. So I went home, and I swore that I would never be in an office again. Well, I mean, as an employee. And what was I gonna do? And this whole experience, like having a teacher that told me I couldn't do it and discouraging me from being an artist, and me stopping it for like 3 years and then getting a job in something else, and the whole job turning out that it was a scam, and me being without a job, and it all drove me back to art. It all made me go back to art. It all made me go back to that thing that they told me I couldn't have. And every time they told me I couldn't have, I wanted it more. But the thing is, when I went back to it, this whole experience of not doing it for a while and trying other things and all that kind of stuff, it made me realize that there's more to it than just, it's what I've always wanted. There's more to it than I've been doing it my entire life. There's more to it than I love it and I like it and I enjoy it and therefore it's what I want to do. There has to be more. There has to be more than that. There has to be more than just wanting it. Because if there's not more than just wanting it, when it becomes a struggle, and it will become a struggle to become an artist. It will become difficult. There will be obstacles along the way. If the only reason you want it is because you want it, if the only reason you want it is because you've been told you can't have it, when you finally get it, you're not going to want it anymore, because maybe if the only reason you want it is because you've been told you can't have it, maybe if the only reason you want it is because you've always wanted it, maybe what you wanted wasn't the art. Maybe what you wanted wasn't to be an illustrator. Maybe you just wanted the struggle. I mean, think about it. We love the struggle. We love the drama. We love it when somebody tells us that we can't have something. Somebody. Ooh, that was a slip. But we love it. We love it when somebody tells us that we can't have something. We want it more. That, like I said, when we can have somebody, we want them more. We like the struggle. We like the drama. But that's not enough. You can't want to be an artist just because it's something you don't have. Because then when you have it, you're not going to want it anymore. And I learned that because for 3 years, I was told that I couldn't have it, and for some reason I listened. And for 3 years, I abandoned that dream. And then, when just life put me in a position where I said, okay, I don't want anything else, I had other options. I could teach. I could do makeup. I could continue being a designer. But I decided, no. You know what? Art. Art is the thing that, if I get scammed, like if I get a job as an artist and it turns out to be a scam, I'm still going to want to be an artist. Not like my job as a graphic designer, where I was in a company and I got scammed and I decided, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be a designer. I don't want to design logos and websites and stuff. I don't want that. Makeup. I love doing makeup, but holy crap, makeup. Every time I had like a day-long makeup session, my back was killing me and I was super tired, and I would always say, I love makeup, but it's just exhausting. Hats off to anybody. Hats off to all the professionals in the makeup industry. Holy crap, that is tiresome. I love it. I love doing makeup, but it's just so much work. I'm not willing to destroy my back and put up with the sessions that makeup involves. It is just exhausting. I like teaching, but I just teach a few hours at the university. I still do. I love doing it, and I hope I never stop doing it. I teach a few hours at the university, and that's it. But when the university has asked me to become a full-time teacher, I don't know. I just don't see myself being a full-time teacher. It's exhausting, and it's fulfilling, but not to the point where I would want to do it full-time. Hats off to all the people that do. That is exhausting. That is mentally draining. a full-time teacher, like, that's a warrior. But it's not for me. So see, I had these other options. I was at a point where I could do any of these other things, but art is the thing that, even though I had not done it for 3 years, I still wanted to do it. Art is the thing that, even though I can go through an exhausting, long session, destroy my back, like be tired of my eyes are itchy and watery, I don't know. Art is the thing that, no matter the cost, I still want to do. Art is a thing that I can work on it all day, and the next day I still want to do it. Art is what lets me take what's in my imagination, take what's in my mind, and make it a reality for others to see. And I love that. I love that. And I think that is worth the cost. So yeah, when thinking about what motivated me to become an artist, I thought at the beginning, I've just always wanted it. But as I sat down and thought more about it, I realized that's not enough. It's not enough to just want it. You have to try other things. You have to realize that this is the thing that you will want, even when it's not glamorous, even when it's not easy, even when it's going to cost you sacrifices, when it's going to cost you, is that even, I don't know. Even when you're going to have to sacrifice things, when you're going to be tired and exhausted and you're going to lose friends and it's going to affect your personal life and it's going to affect your body and all these things. I'm not saying that an artist can't be healthy or anything like that. We'll talk about that some other time. But all these things, when you want to go pro, when you want to be at a different level, a competitive level, everything, not just art, has a price. And you need to understand that price, and you need to realize what that price is. That's why you should never lament the obstacles that come along the path to becoming a professional, well, not really not just an artist, a professional whatever. You should never lament the things that get in your way. You should never lament the obstacles, because those obstacles are what are going to give you the certainty that this is what you want. If those obstacles are too much, then maybe you just don't want it that much, and that's okay. That's okay. Maybe you want to be something else and just a person that has a hobby, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just ask yourself, why do I want this? Why do I want it this much? And considering the price that could happen, because, hey, let's face it, maybe some people are lucky enough that they're not going to have to pay a big price. Maybe, I'm sure that there's some people in the world that are having it smooth. But what happens when it's not? What happens when it's not going smooth and when things go wrong? Are you still going to want to do it? Or are you just going to throw your hands up in the air and say, nope, that's it. That's too much. Not going to pay that much. Well, I guess you didn't want it that much. So ask yourself, what is it? What is the thing that you are willing to pay any price for? What is the thing that no matter what happens, you're still going to follow that path? Have you been tested? Have you passed those obstacles? Have you been in situations where you've had to decide, okay, this is not fun anymore, but I still want to do it? If the answer is yes, if even when it hasn't been fun, you still wanted to do this, and I don't think I'm talking about just art anymore, I'm talking about anything. When it's not fun, when it's been difficult, when it's hurt, when it's required sacrifices, when all those things have happened, did you still want to do it at that point? And if the answer is yes, if the answer is absolutely yes, then welcome to whatever it is that you do, be it art or be it anything. Because now you know. Now you know. So, if you're going through a hard time, if you're having difficulty, if you're having doubts, if you're feeling like you don't know if you're gonna make it, if you're going through an art rut, if you don't know what to draw, if you feel like you suck, if you're looking for a job, but you haven't been able to find a job, if maybe you're trying to make it as a creative artist online, finding commissions, maybe you're on Twitch Creative, maybe you're on YouTube, maybe you're even on DeviantArt, anywhere you want to be, but it's not working out. It's going slow. It's not going like you expected. But you still want to do it, then be happy. Be happy because even though things are going poorly, even though things are not going the way you expected, you got that. You know. You know that you still want it. And that's a lot. That is something that a lot of people don't have. And well, I guess that's it for this week. What motivated me to get into art? Did I even answer the question? Well, I guess I pushed it in somewhere around there. Yeah, art makes me lets me make my imagination and others become a reality. I guess in the end, there's not that definitive answer. Because that I just said, that it lets me make my imagination a reality to show to others. Yeah, that's nice and all. But that's not enough. But I know because I've been through all that stuff and I know that I still want it. And whoever you are, I hope that you still want whatever it is you want. And if not, then hey, you'll find it. For now, this has been your host, O Abnormal, and this has been the Ministry of Abnormality. I don't know what I should call this. Maybe it's an art rant. Maybe it's an art sophism, art dissertation. I don't know. I'll find the name for it sometime. But remember, if you have a question that you would like me to answer or talk about, please leave it in the comments below or just let me know however you want. You can find me anywhere you want on the internet as O Abnormal. If you want to, check out my Patreon. It's right there, and, it's kind of cool. You can support my work. Also, if you want the high-resolution version of the image that I've been drawing here, you'll find it on the Patreon, along with the line work. And you can print it at poster size if you want. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week when I answer, some other question. Until then, stay naughty, and goodbye.